Hi, my name is Crystal Marshall, and I am 21 years old, even though I look 13. I was born in 1998, March the 31st, so I'm an Aries. And also, I was diagnosed with a really rare facial osteosarcoma. So, for as long as I can remember, I have been debating on whether I should share my cancer story to the public. I have been debating whether it would be good for me to relive the hell that was 2016, whilst being unfiltered when speaking about the ugly and unglamorous side effects cancer can have on a person's appearance. But now that my cancer is 100% gone, and thank you. And I have found the confidence within myself to share my cancer story with you here today. I feel a lot more positive to not only raise awareness for osteosarcoma in the jaw, which is a rare bone cancer, but also give you a bit of an insight into what I went through as a teenager living with a facial cancer. It all started on Mother's Day, 2016. Me and my mom decided to go to my sister's house to celebrate the holiday. Everything was going normally until my sister noticed my right nostril was more raised than the left one. After she inspected it more closely and lifted my top lip up, she said it looked like I had developed a small abscess on my upper right gum. She then immediately told me to get it checked out by my GP and dentist as soon as I could. So I did. I took her concern seriously and booked an appointment to see both my GP and my dentist. When I went to my dentist appointment, they started to feel around my gum and take a couple of x-rays. But the results came back all clear and I was happy. Then, later, when I went to the GP and asked her to also inspect my bump, she too thought it was an abscess, but didn't seem that sure and gave me some antibiotics just in case. At this stage, the bump was the shape of a small pea. I went to the dentist soon after, and they decided to write me a referral to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham, so that they could run some tests on what this bump on my gum actually was. At the time, the bump didn't hurt at all, which as I look back is kind of odd because the main signs of bone cancer is pain. But when the doctors at the hospital decided to do a small biopsy to test what the bump actually was, that's when I started to feel a lot of pain. I was on multiple painkillers daily. My cheek and gum became extremely uncomfortable, and my face grew a lot bigger in size. My cheek started to resemble a tangerine. I started to feel self-conscious around this time, so much so that I started panicking. I was a teenage girl who was dedicated to doing performing arts for the last 10 years and naturally felt self-conscious anyway. But when my face became a lot bigger than normal and my self-confidence went down a lot because the bump wouldn't stop growing, this made me so afraid of my future that I didn't want to go on stage or act ever again. The doctors didn't seem to know what was wrong with me. Even after all of the CT scans, x-rays, body scans, they still didn't think it was cancer. I began to get really frustrated. I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma on my upper jaw on the 14th of April 2016, a week after my 18th birthday after months of testing. I don't have any pictures of myself at my 18th birthday, which I regret now, but my face was really big at that point in time that I didn't feel or look like myself at all. Everyone in this room who has known of someone who have had cancer or have unfortunately experienced it themselves know how hard it is. But to have it highlighted to the world and on your face, let alone being a teenager, I got a lot of infections, I couldn't eat, and I constantly got dehydrated and collapsed whenever I lost a ton of weight. At that moment in time, it was one of the hardest battles I had had to face so far. I felt drained, tired, and I wanted to give up. On the bright side, the main thing that really helped me through treatment, surprisingly, was something that my sister suggested. Taking pictures of my face after each week I had chemo so that I could see it reducing in size. My sister and certain family members always complimented me on how my face was improving. But because I thought they were being sympathetic about my situation, I didn't take them seriously until I started to take these photos. I started to notice a difference in my face straight away and got excited after each chemo I had, which I know that some people in the audience who have had cancer are thinking, wait, you got excited about having chemo, but for a person who's had a facial cancer, I was kind of lucky that I actually saw the chemo actually improving, so improve my face. So yeah, this boosted my confidence so much, and I gained a lot of hope of getting better. I started to become a lot more determined to continue my college studies in hospital, become more social and talkative with other patients, and I slowly started to regain my personality again. I was elated. Another thing that helped me through my treatment was praying, meditating, having green smoothies, eating healthier, and overall taking care of my body and my state of mind so that I could be strong enough to beat cancer. I finally regained that hope I lost and felt happier and healthier than I've ever been before. Unfortunately, this happiness was short-lived than I had hoped. I don't want to get into too much detail about what the operation was like on my mental health, because it's still very traumatizing to talk about and I will get upset. But what I will say is this: it definitely pushed me beyond my limits as a human being and allowed me to dig deep within myself to find the power and the strength to carry on. Throughout all of my chemo treatment, I never once felt like I wanted to take my own life, as I did when I woke up having loads of tubes, lines, and all sorts sticking out of me. I never once felt like I wanted to take my own life until I didn't even recognize myself in the mirror anymore. I wasn't Crystal. I wasn't an actress. I wasn't the funny, bright girl that people liked being around. I was nothing but what this cancer disfigured me with. So, the monologue I'm going to perform to you now was supposed to be performed at my level 3 acting variety show performance. I never got the chance to perform this live, but I thought, what better way for me to perform to you, perform it to you now. Oh, and it's called osteosarcoma because I wasn't creative enough to think of something else, so yeah, okay. It starts off as a little pea, so small you can hardly see. It grows and grows and grows until it takes over your mind, body, and soul. It attacks everything in you, so it can rule and destroy the lightness in you, so it can become more powerful to rule within you. Psychologically, physically, and mentally, you're damaged so intensely you can hardly manage the thought of not surviving this. No more pictures, no more smiles, no more feeling good about yourself for a while. You feel as if you have lost your old identity because it has taken over your whole body. Your new number one enemy. Some friends have gone, some have stayed, Some have strayed so far away because they can't see past the tragedy on your face. Why me? What have I done wrong? Why is that person looking at me? Can anyone ever see past this tragedy? All good questions that needed to be asked. Can they see past this new mask? I'm in your class, on the street, on TV, or in a magazine. That's where some of us all are. My name is Crystal Marshall, and I had a rare form of bone cancer. But in the end, I never let it define who I was. Thank you. So, what have I learned about this experience? I've learned how strong I am, how the power of thought and being in control of thinking helps a lot with dealing with traumatic events, whether it's happening to you or someone that you truly love. That when a human being is faced with hardships, of course we are going to want to give up straight away because that's the easiest option. But there is going to be a point where something like a partner, a family member, a friend, or even your will is stronger than the will to give up. This past month, I've been fortunate enough to be asked to take part in a photo shoot taken by Sophie Mayan in her Body Positivity series. It took a lot for me to be comfortable enough to do this, but I'm happy I did it because it makes me have a better appreciation for my scars than I ever had before. And if you want to check her out on Instagram, it's Sophie Mayan, and Instagram handle is Beyond These Scars, I think. And she's got people who've had like burns or scarring to their face, and just like really transforms what beauty should look like to the media and to the future generation. I thought I would hide away from the world forever because of how I looked. But as you have just seen, and on here as well, I've acted on stage, sang in a cathedral, partnered with the BBC, Channel 4, done loads of talks like this one, whilst most importantly showing my full, unfiltered and beautiful face online for the whole world and the masses to see. I threw away my dreams about becoming an actor once I woke up looking like this. But as I've grown older from that scared 18-year-old girl, I began to realize that no matter if I have half a nose, no upper jaw, a giant in your face cheek, or even if people stare at me in public, which isn't their fault, I'm still me, and I'm not going to give up on my dream for acting or working in the theatre just because I look different. Even though I know I won't ever be the first picture, and the after effects of the second has still left me with some deep scars, I look at both pictures and smile, because it enabled me to be the last picture, and for that, I'm grateful. I really do hope that you found inspiration in my talk today, and I hope that when you leave us to go back into your normal lives, you also feel a lot more inspired to make a change in your own life. Follow those dreams, become a more kinder person to yourself and others, and practice self-love and appreciation. Because no matter how hard you think life is, how many problems and troubles that life throws at you, when you look around you and realize and be grateful for what you do have, which is family, friends, and health, you realize that your life isn't really that bad. And with that realization, you can change your life for the better. I'm Crystal Marshall, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.